Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at a steam locomotive from Bachmann. It's the HO scale K4. This is a 462 steam locomotive and it's equipped with DCC wow sound from TCS. So this is a Pennsylvania locomotive pre-war with Slat pilot. There's a few different versions of these K4s that Bachmann is offering. Let's get this out of the box and see what you get. Alright, the lid shimmies off here. Pardon my fairly hairy arms. It's like press fit to an extent, so it's not easy. But I do want you guys to get the complete unboxing experience. And if you don't get it just right, it won't pop off. So that's the lid. It's got some graphics on it of the locomotive. It's pretty cool. I like their design for sure. Inside houses upside down 2 different blister packages, as they call them. The top is the locomotive and the bottom is the tender, and then there's this little false back here. It gives you a hint that there's some information tucked back here, but that lifts up and out to reveal some paperwork. And again, really cool design. You know, you got diesel and steam locomotive designs there, but this is your quick start guide from Bachmann. Exploded parts diagram. If you were to lose a part or if a part was missing, you just correspond to that number and you get a hold of Bachmann parts. The quick start guide is about 11 pages. The last one's blank, maybe for notes, but overall it goes over the functions. TCS has different modes as well. We'll cover some of the functions on this. A 1-year limited warranty card is tucked in here along with a order form for a full color catalog, which Bachmann puts out every year. So there's all the information. Let's actually look and get the locomotive out of its box. So we're just going to slide this like so. And we're gonna, looks like we have a little part that popped off here. Oop. Just came a fly in there. So a couple parts came loose in transit. We'll take a look at that. So here's the locomotive and the tender. Right behind here. So where we have the locomotive and tender, we can zoom in and take a closer look at that. So you'll notice here there's a little area where a part needs to be press fit and installed, and due to time I don't have time to install it. I don't have the glue, proper glue to get that put in there, but I did want to go ahead and show you the locomotive and the tender. You know, there's so many parts on different rolling stock and locomotives. We often have stuff pop off, and it's just a simple fix usually, or else I'll notify you if it's a major problem. On the front there's a high mounted headlight, Pennsylvania Railroad keystone cutout and number board. There's smoke box door with latches there. The pilot has an Easy Mate 2 coupler, and it has airline hoses going down along with markings on the pilot as well. Now this is considered a Slat pilot, so there's different pilots depending on which version you get. Class lights up top I don't believe are operational, but we'll find out in the details. Along the side you can see the cylinder cocks, the drivers, the side rod detail. There's also a bell up here. The sand and boiler domes are up top, and some safety valves up top right behind there. So pretty neat detail on that. Some mix of molded in detail and separately applied detail, like this here is separately applied. The grab irons are separately applied details on this locomotive. Towards the rear we do have cab figures installed. We'll kind of turn the tender that way to get it out of the way. Cab figures installed on both the engineer and fireman's side. There's a drop step. There's a female connector for the male part on the tender, which you can see sitting there. Multi-pin connection. Trailing truck. There's some blowdown plumbing. You can see the firebox and the rivet detail on the firebox, or you know, those stay bolts basically is what's on those fireboxes. Tenders up front here, you can see the coal load, realistic coal load. Some of the details on the tender, water hatch for the rear where the water sits separated from the coal to help feed that boiler in the locomotive and transfer to the locomotive's water use. On the back, crew access ladder, rear marker lights. Again, we are not sure about operation on that. Coupler cut lever on the rear as well. And more on this side of the same. Now I will move this tender so you can see there is boiler backhead detail as well. A little hard to see in the dark there, but you do have the butterfly doors and other boiler backhead detail, and the crew figures are actually in kind of an action position where they've got their arms braced up for use, and even their other arm kind of braced on the windowsill of the locomotive. More plumbing on this side, as you can see above the trailing truck. Some piston plumbing detail, reverser, throttle. Pretty nicely detailed locomotive there. Pilot seems to be up slightly at an angle. I'm sure that can be adjusted if necessary, but they're probably trying to make clearance for your railroad in case there's any variations. Smokestack obviously, and builder's plate here as well. So that's a quick look at a 360 of this locomotive. Let's get it into operation. Alright, we got the locomotive fired up here. Let's listen to just a few different functions on this locomotive. We'll test some of the TCS wow sounds capabilities. I do have some things previously set, so let me go ahead and clear that out. But here is, let's see, you got the headlight, which is working as you can see. And F8 seems to power everything up here. One is bell. Two is whistle. On my NCE power cab, this will short and stop pretty quickly when you press 2, but if you just let 2 press it once and let it go, it's just going to keep going. And then 3 short whistle. Kind of good for shaving a haircut. F4. Blow down sounds. There's just many sounds involved in this. Let's go ahead and move this at 1 speed step. It's got 28 different functions loaded out here. A little slow out the gate on 1 speed step, so I'm up to 3 here. Hear the chuff. Tell you what, TCS wow sound, some of the best I've heard both in diesel and steam. Just amazing. So I've got this manual I took a quick break to get here. 4 was blowdown, 5 is cylinder cocks. I don't know if I'm getting any motion on that. Oh, there it goes. Outside of chuff, you can hear the cylinder cocks a little more in motion. 6 is water fill. Seven dims the headlight. So you hear the hatch open on the water fill. And then there's more functions if you go into like function page 2 and 3, you know, which is essentially changing the light and sound mode or page by hitting F8 twice in a row. I'll do that for you just to demonstrate.
Light mode.
So that's light mode. And then, let's see.
Function page 2.
I hit it F8 twice again and I get function page 2 with more. So F2 now is coupler close. F3 is coupler release. F4 is brake release. F5 is apply brakes. F6 momentum. F7 safety. So there's more functions basically. And then I can do function page 3 by hitting F8 twice in a row again.
Function page 3.
And you got grade crossing quill on F0. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? That's the thing about TCS Wow Sound. It's just amazing. Just kind of fawning over it because we needed sound like this in the industry for so long. F1 is forward quill. F2 is reverse quill. F3 is stop. And F4 you can rotate the whistle and bell. F5 is ash pan cleaning. So just and what you're hearing there is they're basically shaking out the ash pan. That's how they clean the ash pan out. It like shakes the ash out from some grates down to I think a catch area or something, and then it gets cleaned out from there or raked out from there. So that is just basically some functions. We'll go ahead and continue moving. It seemed like it stopped chuffing for a second, so I went and got the manual, but I think I just hit a function and got it confused or something. But as you can see, it's got pretty good slow speed control forward and back. This is a product demo, so we're not getting into it too deep here, but I do spend the time that I normally spend on a product review with testing showing you more functions. So every once in a while, the chuff kind of just goes away, but I don't know if it's just not getting going fast enough and it's just rod clink it's switching over to or what. So a pretty cool locomotive. So overall, I suggest you take a look at it if you're interested in that era, or if you're just a Wow Sound fan, because like I said, sometimes I'm buying stuff just because it has Wow Sound in it. I just love the sound of it, not my era or anything. So one thing I want to mention about the chuff, it seems like when it's at slow speeds, it's more likely to give the side rod clank and not much chuff at all. Maybe when it first moves, but so you'll get a couple chuffs sometimes, and then it just kind of fades out at slower speeds and just goes to kind of a clank, which may be how a real steam locomotive operates. We're just so used to models, you know, always chuffing. So usually the chuff is under some sort of stress or pull, and maybe the decoder would do that with a consist on here, but slower speeds, you hear just that side rod clank. When you really get moving, you hear the chuff. So I just wanted to clarify that because we're about to do a run by, and we're doing two separate run bys. One a little faster where you get the chuff, one slower and it's just quiet, and something we're not really used to as modelers, but it's probably something that that was actually done on purpose by TCS because they studied, you know, how steam locomotives operate at really slow speeds. You don't get much chuff. So, all right, well, let's finish with the run by. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel.